All right, team. So we have Kilana and Will and I here, and we're going to be training today on session 14, going through loan program education and mining. Today's subject is going to be the SBA 504 and 7A loan programs. So Will and Kilana, what did you guys learn in the 504 program? What were some things that kind of stuck out to you the most? I think what we'll do is we'll start with Will and then we'll go to Kilana if that's okay. And then at 7A loan program, we'll start with Kilana and go to Will afterwards.
Yeah, like I said, I'm still I want to defer this to Kilana first. I hate to do that to you, but I watched the video and I'm still kind of shaky on it. So yeah, I hate to do this. This isn't usually what I do.
No big deal. Well, for me, I mean, I guess I kind of have to look at it as like comparing the two, because I definitely, like I said, it was very much like, the 504 is the one that makes sense and the one that seems a lot better for the client. And then the 7A was like, wow, we're taking out every single possible personal guarantee that we can. In the 504, I remember that it was pretty non-negotiable from the bank side. They kind of have, they're strict. This is what we do for this. And then I'm not sure. I mean, it was just, there's a lot in it, like a million different things, but I know that they prefer to have like a 10 to 25 year, 10 to 25 year. I'm sorry, I'm totally out of it.
No problem. Yeah, so some things to like some of the key things to keep in mind with the program, and you're doing great, and thanks for sharing your insights as well. It is a little bit of gibberish, and that's totally understandable. It takes some time to understand. As you know, I was actually the one learning from the videos that you guys saw as well, so it's kind of cool to see me on the other side after it took 2 years to get there, so it's great. So no problem there. Some notes I have are in some key points too, and feel free to ask along the way. So the way the SBA 504 loan works is, generally speaking, it's more emphasized on the real estate element. So real estate includes anything from owner-occupied industrial, owner-occupied retail, office space, medical office, car wash, self-storage. It has to be anything that I will personally occupy with my business in this property that's generating business cash flow or income. And that could be any of those assets, but also there's a lot of different types of businesses that can be attributed to an SBA 504 loan. Now, the way that the structure works is the SBA will guarantee 40% of the loan amount, right? So if, let's just say the SBA loan is $1 million, or you're trying to get $1 million, the SBA will guarantee 400,000 of that. The bank will then take 50% of that, which means 500,000. And then where does the remaining 10% come from?
The client.
Correct. So that means that you're at 90% loan to value. So 10% coming in from the client, because we want to have, the shared interest of a deal getting done. So we want to make sure there's equity going in from the client. So that's what's so attractive about this program, is that the client can go in with 10% down, and then they get a very competitive interest rate that's fixed on the SBA front for that 40% for how many years?
25.
Correct. Good job. Yep, 25 years. So the SBA part will be fixed for 25 years, and on the rate that they shared on the videos, that was during COVID, which was very low. It was like 2.5.
2.4. Yeah.
Now we're up to 5.1%. So it's been a little bit different since. And then what's interesting though is that rate will be fixed for the 25 years, but then the 50% coming from the bank side, that'll be fixed for 5, 7, or 10 years. So even though the SBA rate is fixed for the full term of 25 years, the bank side is not. And so that's something to keep in mind. So something that we like to call it is actually more of a blended rate. So we look at the average of the two, and that's kind of what you ultimately say is what my blended rate is. Do you guys have any questions about that?
No, that was great. I feel like, well, part of on the other video when I was watching it, it was very like quiet, like the sound on it, even when I was turning my thing up all the way. So that part was hard because I just struggled to focus with things like that. But that definitely gave me a better overview. I felt, yeah.
I remember hearing something on one of the videos where there was a scenario where the borrower would have to put down an additional 5% on top of that 10%. What scenario is that? I forgot.
So that is if a property is deemed special purpose or
Okay.
single use, right? So single use properties include gas station. It could be a car wash, different types of properties like that. And then there's also a key point that was made there that if you also have a loan already, an SBA loan already, that also will add another 5% or 10% to your equity injection too. So if it's an expansion, usually you'll have to come in with 5 to 10% additional as well.
Okay. And what's the reasoning behind that? Just because, like,
Because oh, sorry.
no, no, you're good, you're good.
Wasn't it because like if the borrower ends up, flying off the deep end or just like disappearing, then it's more of a risk on the lender and they have to find someone who's willing to take over a gas station specifically or a car wash specifically. And it's not the same as like, you just have this open building that you can get anybody to take.
Yeah, exactly. Good job, Kelowna. Yeah. And that's the thing, like the special purpose or single use, there is a little bit of risk with that. So that's why they always want to have a little bit of extra equity in there. And also one thing to keep in mind too is that when an SBA 504 loan takes place, let's just say you're at the closing table right now, we're signing. There is a period that the SBA does not take over for 45 to 60 days, right? So let's just say I say, the current SBA 504 rate right now is 5.1%. It takes 60 to 90 days to close the loan. So there could have been a change between that point when we started till 90 days. And then also when you close, there's a debenture period, which takes about 45 to 60 days too. So you're looking at sometimes about 5 to 6 months before you get the rate locked for the SBA 25-year fixed rate. Did that part kind of make sense to you guys, or do you have any questions about that?
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Great. So what happens in between there is the SBA will just charge you an interest only period of about 2 months until it debentures. And so another key point too is that there's no second lien on your personal assets with a 504 loan. So you're right, it is a lot more client friendly to go the 504 route. However, the fees are about the same. It's about 2% of the loan is usually what we end up projecting it out to. And what's nice too is that SBA 504 lending partners will provide you with a sources and uses document that kind of highlights where the fees are, what fees are being paid, and how much in fees. So sometimes a client will say, well, how much are my fees? We can give them the sources and uses and show them exactly what it is.
Sorry, I'm writing as you're talking.
Okay.
So.
No problem. Are there any other questions on the 504 program?
So the 504 loans, those are the much larger ones, right? Like if it's anything less than about $1 million, that's going towards 7A, correct? And then anything above will probably go towards 504.
So generally speaking, yeah, we want to keep it about 1 million. Not to say that they won't do it if it's under 1 million. It really just depends, because sometimes it makes more sense to do a 504 if the loan amount is higher than 1 million. Just given the savings are a lot more abundant when it is higher than 1 million at the time. And then also a conventional loan, you can do an owner occupied conventional loan at 20% down. So it really just depends on, availability of equity from the borrower as well. So keeping that in mind.
Thank you.
Welcome. How about you, Will? Any questions?
I think I'm good right now. Still just trying to get the key terms, but I think I'm good.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and the key terms will also, that sometimes takes a little bit of time, so no fear. I mean, it's okay not to know all the answers right now, and we'll continue to work with you on that.
Okay.
Uh, so keeping in mind, the 504 loan program is more for the real estate portion, not quite the business, right? So are you guys comfortable with me moving forward with the 7A loan program?
Yes.
Yes.
Got it. So what were some things you guys learned about the 7A loan program is my question to you.
Well, like I said earlier, the 7A, they want a personal guarantee for basically like 100% of everything. So they'll go dollar for dollar and try to find anything that they can from the client to get that guarantee. And then I might have this mixed up, but they want the majority of the guarantee, or I guess, I think it's like the capital stack, like they want the majority to be coming from the client. I think they are typically like the messier, not so straightforward. Those ones are more for just any business owner, like if they need any sort of thing. So they will do real estate, but that's not like the main idea there. Yeah, those are my quick points. Oh, and then this is the same like owner occupied. I remember specifically if it's a new construction, then they'll want them to be occupying like 60%. And then by the second year, it's like 80%. But if it's not new construction, then they just need to have like 51% of the buildings occupied by themselves. And then the rest can be whomever.
Yeah, great. No, it's that's kind of an SBA rule of thumb. So that also applies for the 504 loan program as well. Yeah, 51% is usually for acquisitions. Want to make sure, and sometimes it literally just lines up to exactly 51%. So it's amazing how close you can get and it works out. Yeah, so what's nice about the SBA 7A loan is that it provides a little bit of flexibility, right? With the hairier deals or deals that might not be real estate focused. So some things that we leverage SBA 7A loans for are business acquisitions or partner buyouts. There's also sometimes the real estate and business blended type of deal where it's, I did a deal recently where it was an auto body shop where the real estate and the business were both for sale. So we did a 7A loan to blend both of them together. There are also times where you could do a 504 loan for the building acquisition and then a 7A loan for the business portion. So it really just depends on how you structure the deal to make it make sense. So the way the 7A loan program works, if you were to acquire a business, is you can have up to 10 years on the term. And the way the rate is set is actually usually a floating quarterly adjusting prime rate plus, let's just say 2.5 to 2.75. So each quarter that rate will adjust and then fix for the next 3 months based on where the prime rate is. Okay. And that has no prepayment penalty. So if let's just say the business I buy is doing super well, it's thriving, and I want to pay down this loan as fast as I can, there is no penalty with that. So you can pay it as fast as you'd like. And then also, if you were to acquire real estate, you can have 25 years. So 25 years, it would be a floating rate as well. There's no 25-year fixed rate on the 7A loan program. So that's where the 504 loan is a little bit more attractive, is they'll fix it for 25 years, where the 7A, it does float. One thing to note too, is if the business value is worth more than the real estate, you can still do the 7A loan, but this 25-year term has to be condensed into 16 years. So it compresses it a bit. That is only if let's just say the business is worth 1.2 million and the building is worth 800,000. So that's when the 7A loan program would condense it. And that's why sometimes it makes more sense to even do the 504 separately or the 7A than the 7A. But that 16 years might actually end up being better as far as the amortization goes. So there's always different ways you can look at it. Do you guys have any questions about that?
Yeah, that was a pretty good overview. So when they I guess not Nevin, but whenever there's like, I guess I'm used to us talking like mostly about commercial real estate. So does that mean like we also work with like not commercial real estate, or is this just in a case where like someone, or we would only see this in a case where someone is like, I'm looking to get this real estate, but like I'm also considering buying the business along with it.
Yeah, so that's a great point you make there. So it's, commercial real estate is definitely a big element of what we do, but we can also help with the business acquisition or partner buyouts as well. So that's another product type that we can help support as well for clients. So it's a little bit of both. Yeah. I would say there's more real estate transactions that take place in business acquisitions or business transactions, to be honest, but that is an element that we can also support as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that, just in general, like if we were looking at everything that happened in the nation, it's probably more commercial
Yeah.
real estate than any business.
Of course. And the nice thing too is that we can diversify as well with, different product types that we can work with. So it sometimes happens where, we get an auto body shop and they say, hey, the business and the building are for sale. So I'd rather us be able to cater to both than one or the other, so
Mhm.
have.
And then that also, could lead to a client being like, oh, well, I'll just go over here because they'll help me with
Yeah,
both.
exactly. So we don't want to turn down opportunities either. Exactly. Exactly. So the way the SBA 7A works is the SBA guarantees 75% of the loan. Now, that does come at a price, right? So they'll usually have to put a lien on your house or a vacation home or something just to make sure that they're covered. And then also the down payment does range from 10% to 15%. So you do get flexibility with that. One thing I do like about the 7A loan program and the 504 program is that if you have already spent money up front on that project specifically, let's just say I had to pay for architecture, permitting, and different fees per se that cost sometimes a lot of money, you can actually leverage that as equity injection. So if let's just say you were building a self-storage facility and you've already paid for the architecture, the design of it, and it costed $10,000, that $10,000 can go in as equity. So you can leverage that as an opportunity to pay less at closing per se. Okay. It's the same story here. You got 51% occupancy. You got to make sure you're occupying it, ideally 100% even. And also the max loan dollars that they're willing to provide you with is how much?
5 million.
Correct. Yep. That's the same with the 504 loan. Cool. So with that being said, if let's just run through a quick scenario, I'll do a little pop quiz. So let's just say I call Will and I say, hey, Will, I'm going under contract on a industrial property that I'd like to buy. It's actually for my manufacturing company that I've owned for 5 years. What can I look for as far as financing goes?
I am a little confused with the question, I think, or the scenario. Like that's all I know is just that they've owned it for 5 years, or wait, they've owned the business for 5 years and they're looking to get a loan to get of it. So then they'd be able to get either, correct? It would be more dependent on like what exactly they're looking for and how
Yeah.
the
So they're actually, because their business has been open for 5 years, they're looking to purchase a new building. Maybe,
oh,
maybe their current building isn't big enough for the production they're doing, or they're looking to expand. So what loan option would we provide them with in the scenario that they want to buy an industrial property? Would the 504 or the 7A make more sense for that?
504.
That's right. Yeah. The 504 makes more sense because it's a real estate transaction. So they don't need a business loan, they need the real estate loan. So the 504 is the correct answer. Good job. Yeah. Now, to kind of review a little bit too, let's just say I need financing for, I'm renting a place, I'm renting an office building. It's for my insurance agency, and I need to finance some upgrades to the property. So tenant improvements I need to make. I also need to,
7A,
correct.
because they're not doing real estate. So basically, in any case that, or just in any case, if we're doing just real estate, then we are hoping for 504, unless something just, a nuance comes out. But then anything that has like equipment or, I don't know, business acquisition or partnership, then we're going to look for 7A.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Good job. Exactly it. Yeah, so that kind of highlights, the key pieces of the 7A and 504 loan programs. What are some things that you could take away from the learnings that you really think that, like, what do you think are more common as far as loans go? Like, what do you think we're going to see more of? Let's just say you're a loan associate, and like, what kind of questions would you be curious about in regards to these types of loan programs?
Do you mean like just specifically SBA, or like all of the ones that we've gone over
Yeah.
recently?
Anything? Yeah.
Well, I would think that, I mean, just from how much time we spent on them, like CMBS, that seems like a really, wait, no. Wait. I think that Dave said he doesn't like CMBS ones. Now that I'm saying that, but I just know we have spent a lot of time, but I think it's probably more so because they're a little bit more intricate and they have a lot more parts going into them. Then I don't know. I mean, I guess I would say like a regular, going to a bank and working straight through a bank would be the most common thing. It seems like the least messy thing. But then, when it comes to someone who has a little bit of maybe like not the best history or something like that, then that'll be someone that we're looking for more of like a hard money or like a private lender, and someone who's looking more like asset based instead of looking into the person themselves. Yeah, I guess that's my quick take on it. But yeah, I just, as I was saying that, I was like, I'm pretty sure Dave said that he does not like CMBS.
Yeah, so every loan program has its benefits and perks, right? So SBA makes sense if you're not trying to put a lot of money down. So that's where right now the biggest perk of the SBA loan program is, where, instead of coming up with 20-25%, you're only bringing in 10. I do think that the SBA has the best for business loans, where conventional business loans, they generally don't give you the full 10-year term. It's usually a little bit less than that, sometimes even half. So having 10 years at a prepay, that provides you with some wiggle room there, also some flexibility. And also the no prepayment penalty helps too, because then you can pay it off.
Yeah, that's huge.
Where the 504 loan does have a prepayment penalty, but it's a step down generally. So that means it goes from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or
the percentage cuts down as it goes. So yeah, I was just talking to my mom about the about prepayment penalties. I was like, if anybody's taking a prepayment penalty and they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and pay this off, I'm like, dude, there's no way I would be like, yeah, let me just throw $200,000 extra on top of something or whatever it ends up being.
yeah, no, it's true. And every loan program has its perks, right? And that's the whole idea, is that we have different options, and options are nice, right? So we like options. All right. Is there any last remarks before we end the recording here? Anything you guys want to share, or maybe some insight you'd like to provide?
I don't think so. I'm still just kind of trying to wrap my head around the first time that we're seeing the SBA, so we're a little what is this?
Yeah. It's I know I've said this a couple different times, but Dave always says like this internship experience will be like trying to drink water from a fire hose, and I definitely have felt that throughout the last couple of months. Yeah, but I feel like I just got to get more familiar with it, just practice it. And once I get like that real world experience actually applying it, I think it'll make it even much easier than it already is.
Agreed. It's no problem. And that's the whole idea here is we'll get you guys, we'll provide you with the information needed, but then when you put it to practice, it'll all come together very nicely. And that's also another thing is ask questions. It's okay to not know, right? We don't expect you to know everything, but the questions you ask will also help kind of move the needle a little bit further. So thank you guys. This is our training on the SBA loan programs.